was 5 years ago that a new strain of coronavirus hit Maine and changed day-to-day life for just about everyone. Schools across the state, both public and private, were shut down, and colleges were suddenly facing a situation that was going to change campus life for the foreseeable future.
News Center Maine's Sean Stackhouse sat down with University of Maine President Joan Ferrini-Mundy to look back at what the pandemic was like on campus and those lingering effects.
Take me back to March of 2020 here on campus.
Hard to believe it's been 5 years since March 23rd happened, and we really were hearing the news around the world and hearing from the World Health Organization that we had a pandemic and needed to make some very rapid decisions, and we did. We transitioned immediately to have our students move off of the campus, to our faculty being ready to teach remotely in whatever ways that meant, and of course that's given rise to all kinds of variations and definitions, everything from hybrid to fully remote and so forth, and saw ourselves in a place where we needed, I think, and looking back at least, maybe we didn't realize it at the time, we really needed to rethink ourselves to be ready to handle such an amazingly dramatic kind of moment. You know, we had chemistry professors putting together kits to send home to kids so that they could continue to do labs from afar. We had music instructors figure out how to, when we did come back, how to wrap plastic bags around the bell of the saxophone so that they could try in some way to avoid spreading the disease, playing and singing with masks, dancing at distance, you know. A lot of stuff that just happened so quickly, but what struck me was how flexible and rapid everyone was in trying to make those shifts.
Talk with me a little bit about those semesters before we had really rounded the corner, but we want to get back to a semblance of normalcy if we can.
Sure, and some disagreements starting to erupt by then about, well, do we really need masks? Should we require masks in the classroom? What will the policy look like? Coming back was even more challenging in some ways because then there was so much ambiguity. Like, how do we make 6-foot distancing in these lecture halls? How can we fit enough students in there? How many times do we have to repeat this in a day? What about faculty who have their own situations and don't feel that they can be here and they need to be working from home? So we got even more flexible, but I think also very responsive. We learned to take people where they were and try to help them succeed from there.
And what stuck from the pandemic into this new era of learning here in Orono?
But I think what has stuck is more of a philosophy, which is we need to be deeply committed to meeting students where they are, to acknowledging what they bring and what they need. And we're still seeing students who've come through the pandemic, and we will for a few more years. And so whatever their experience was has shaped their educational experience as well, and built up their resilience and built their creativity, but perhaps also resulted in certain kinds of gaps or places where they didn't get experiences that they might have gotten in those grades that they were in when they came to us. So I think that has held. I think our recognition that our students can be successful, if they're admitted to the University of Maine, we're committed to being sure that they have opportunity to be successful. We went to great lengths to do that during the pandemic. And we're doing it now with a set of student success and retention efforts to help provide real-time advising, in-the-moment kinds of check-ins and alerts and supports and tutoring and so forth. And that, I would like to say, some of that came out of our attitude during the pandemic.
What are some of the other key takeaways that you have that you're going to carry with you throughout the rest of your tenure as president after having served during this era of the pandemic?
We shouldn't underestimate ourselves as a community, right? We didn't fall apart. We had hard moments. We had a lot of disagreement, but we did come together, and being reminded of that, and it happens in other kinds of circumstances as well, but it's really key to the University of Maine that we are, as Robert Dana always used to say, a kind, caring, compassionate community, and it showed during those years.
Sean Stackhouse with that conversation.